Hello, a Rosie math teacher coming at you from my 5th period grade 7 math class, where today we are starting with question 16 on practice session 2A for our FAST exam. Grade 7. Question 16. Which fractions result in repeating decimals when converted? Select all that apply. So class, for A, what will you do with 1/3? You'll plug it into your what? Calculator. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and show you what your calculator screen will look like. It will look like this. 0.333333333. Will you pick A? Well, what did it say? Which fractions result in repeating decimals when converted? Class, is this a repeating decimal? Yes. So will you pick A? Yes. Please do the same process with options B, C, D, and E. Pick every one that has a repeating decimal. Now, if at any point you saw one that looked like this on your calculator, 0.6 is all the way to the end of the screen, and all of a sudden they have a 7. Is this a repeating decimal, yes or no? Yes. It is just because they went and rounded to that last possible place value. Because before, that had a 6 after it, so when they rounded to that place, they rounded it up to a 7. And that is how you can tell. When it repeats all the way up to that last number, then you know it is indeed a repeating decimal, if you should get that. All right, moving on to number 17. I'm just giving hints, and then you guys are going to get busy. Number 17. A company making audio equipment sampled 300 earbuds, EB for earbuds, and they found that 5 were defective. If the company makes 5,680 earbuds, about how many will be defective? Round to the nearest whole number. Now, guys, doesn't it make sense that you would round to the nearest whole number? Because you would not have like 13 and a half earbuds, would you? There is no such thing. So you're going to round to the nearest whole number. You might want to write yourself a reminder to round. Now, do you see 2 items that are related to each other that both have what? Labels that are same or labels that are different?
Different.
Okay, good. Different. I love that participation. Thank you, sir. I'm not going to show you what this will look like, but I will remind you. Turn this into a what I know ratio, and then place your total number of earbuds across from the same label earbuds. At that point, you would be ready to what? Cross multiply, divide by lonely number. Excellent. More people participating. All right, come back to that when you're working on your own. Item number 18. A circular fence is used for a playpen. Quickly draw a circle just to remind yourself what you'll be working on for item number 18. The circumference of the fence is 48 feet. What shall you write after C? C equals what? 48 feet. They gave that to you. And then they say, what is the diameter of the pen? So do you know the diameter? No. What is the diameter? Is it my blue line or is it my black line?
Blue line.
It is my blue line, the distance all the way across. But because we don't know it, I'm going to write question mark by it. Let's see. Use pi for 3.14. So what should you write for pi? 3.14. Round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. Write yourself a reminder that you will round. Now, what is it they are asking you to find, class?
The
Diameter. So on your reference sheet, your FAST exam grade 7 mathematics reference sheet, it will tell you on one side, it will show you formulas to do with circles. So when you find those formulas to do with circles, and one of them says C equals pi d, and the other one says C equals 2 pi r, which one should you use since you are trying to find diameter? C equals pi d. And what number would you end up writing underneath C? 48. Great job. What number would you end up writing underneath the pi symbol? Great job. 3.14. And then D. Then you would have a one-step equation that you would then do what to both sides? Would you add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Ooh, a bunch of people are saying it. I'm about to get excited. What did you say? Say it again, guys. Divide. You would all divide by the number that was sitting next to D. Divide both sides by that same number, and you will get your what? Diameter, your answer, and you will round it to the nearest what? Hundredths place. Great job, guys. All right, let's take notes on number 19. Oh, guys, number 19 is a wee bit on the tricky side, but I am ready to help you, probably a little bit more than usual. All right, Brian buys lunch how many days each month? Oh, you can't see it, it's so tiny. He buys it 18 days each month. So Brian is going to buy how many lunches? 18 lunches. And in what amount of time? Per month. Excellent. All right, he is charged $4.25 for each lunch. So I'm going to write $4.25 per lunch. Do you agree this is important information for me to start gathering? Okay, it would be lovely if you guys were taking this moment to write it down while we're talking about it. He gets a meal credit of $90 at the start of each month. Do you notice how so far everything has to do with happening in a month? So he starts the month with a $90 meal credit. Is that like money in the bank or money out of the bank? Money in the bank. So I would go ahead and write $90 at start of month. You want to write your understanding of what's happening as you read it so your brain can start thinking about what to do with this information. Then it says, Brian currently has a credit balance of $30. Now it says currently he has a credit balance. Is he getting $30 new every month? No, it's just basically money that's where? In his account right now. It's like money where? In the bank. Excellent. So this guy, Brian, he already has how much money in the bank? $30. He already has $30. We're getting to it. They haven't finished asking questions yet. If he has 3 full months left in the year, 3 months left in the year, how much credit in dollars and cents will he have left at the end of the year? Now, you guys are young enough, you don't have to manage a bank account yet, but do you at least know some people in your life that have a bank account? Maybe even you do. Okay, when Grandma and Grandpa decide to start you a bank account and they put $30 in it, then how much money will always be there if you never put more in and you never take it out? $30. But if you put money in, it gets what to your 30? Added. If you use some of the money, it gets what from your account? Subtracted. Excellent. Let's look at his lunch account like a bank account, because that is what it's like. Are you with me? Okay. So in the situation, let me explain their wording, because I feel like they were a little tricky. They are asking you a question about, given this moment in time, if Brian currently has $30 in the bank, and he's planning for the next 3 months of buying lunches, and at the beginning of each month, he always has a fresh deposit of $90 in his lunch account, and then he buys 18 lunches that month for $4.25 each. So that money is going where? Out of his account. So you will be what that amount from his account? Subtracting. So then at the end of 3 months, they want to know how much money is where? In his account. So now we're ready to begin the number story. So at this current moment in time, how much money does he start with in his account?
$90.
Okay. I have one person saying it. Great job. How did you know it was 30? Because this is before anything happens. Okay. Because they're saying in the future he's going to start this monthly thing with the lunches. So start with right now. Currently he has $30 in his account. So write 30 as the beginning of your number story. Now, at the beginning of each month, now hold on. How many months is he about to be buying lunches? 3 months. So remind yourself that you're going to say, I'm going to add 3 months worth of bank situations going on. Right? So in parentheses, I'm going to represent what is happening each month. Are you guys understanding why I'm saying plus 3 here? And now we're going to write the monthly finances inside the parentheses? Okay. So what amount does he start off with each month? A new deposit of what? 90. So that's a positive amount. And then each month, what is being subtracted? Enough money for his lunches, yes? Okay. So again, where is that money going? Is it going into his account, the money that he's spending on the lunches, or is it leaving his account? Leaving. What math sign means leaving? Subtract. Do you follow? Now, what are you going to subtract? You're going to subtract 18 lunches at $4.25 a lunch. So what would I recommend you do with your handheld calculator right now? What should I do with those two numbers? Well, let's try it. Somebody just said subtract. If I do 18 lunches minus $4.25 per lunch, will I get the total amount he spent on lunches for a month? Would it make sense for him to spend less than $18 for all 18 lunches? No. So try something else. Multiply. That's right. Because if I drew a lunchbox and said that's $4.25, I drew another lunchbox, $4.25, I start to realize I'm going to have to draw 18 lunchboxes. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do what? Multiply. Raise your hand if you have a total now.
76.
Okay? Okay, say it again.
76.5.
76.5. So $76 and what? 50 cents. Remember, if it's 0.5, it means 50. Okay, but I don't mind if down here we write minus what? 76.5. Ending parenthesis. Now do you see how you have the beginning of your number story? He already currently has $30 in his lunch account. And then we add 3 months worth of what is happening. 90 is positive because it's going in there at the beginning of each month. Minus $76.50 because that's coming out of the 90. And this scenario is happening how many times in a row? 3. So when you finish solving that on the online calculator, what will you get? The final total that is where? In his account. Now guys, if you get a total that ends with something 0.5, will you type something 0.5 as your answer? No. You will type something 0.50. Excellent. Okay, now we're ready to talk about, last but not least, number 20. A teacher is reviewing the scores of a math exam. Which types of data display would be appropriate to show all the scores? Select all that apply. All right, I'm going to give you a hint that I want you to write for yourself. Select only two. Only 2 answers. Now, I'm not going to tell you which ones to select, but I am going to remind you. Ask yourself, Would a teacher, such as myself, choose a bar chart? Imagine, if I had 30 students in the class, I would then be using 30 bars, each bar indicating a student's score on the test. If you think that would be a smart choice, you pick it. If not, you don't. Or do you think I would use a box plot for each individual score? Remembering that a box plot looks like this. It always has a median there, and then it also has that. Now, to be fair, if I used a box plot, does the lowest score line up with a number on its number line down below? Yes. Does the highest score line up with a number on the number line down below? Does the median line up with a number? Does the beginning of the interquartile range line up with a number? And does the end line up with a number? Okay. Would I be able to see every individual student's scores using a box plot? So you decide if that would be a wise choice or not if I'm wanting to view every student's individual scores. How about a circle graph? Would I ever use a circle graph to go, this student got 98%, this student got 97%? Think about what that would look like. Think about whether or not that would make sense. I'll let you decide. Then they ask, would you use a line plot? A line plot is where you would have this line and you would have scores. Let's say I only had scores from 80 to 100. So you might have scores that are 80, 81, all the way to 100. And every time a kid has an 80, you would put a dot. Every time a kid has 100, you would put a dot. If 3 kids got hundreds, there would be 3 dots there. If 2 kids got 80, there would be 2 dots there. And then so on in between. Would that represent every individual score? Decide if you want to choose it or not. Then last but not least, we have a stem and leaf plot. Remember that the stem is always the what place value? Tens. And the leaf is always the ones. So let's say, for example, if it were kids made 80 to 100 on this test, in the 80s, I might go, there were 2 kids that got 80s, then one got an 81, another got an 89. Then in the 90s, we had a 91, a 92, a 95, a 97, a 97, and then there were 300s. So if you think that is a good way to see all of the individual scores, you would pick it. If you don't, you don't pick it. I hope that all my reminders are going to help you be very successful. Please don't forget, this is counting toward a test grade. So get busy and do your very best.